So, Wiz, you said Saquon Barkley's out, huh?
Yeah, I just got the notification. I thought this was gonna be the bounce back game for the Giants, maybe to correct it, but looks like they might have to wait another week.
Yeah, that's a freaking killer, man. I can't believe it. He's out. I mean, that sucks. So, I haven't really been keeping tabs on this Bills Jaguars game too much. How's that going? Do you guys know what the score is?
Yeah, I know Christian Kirk was playing pretty damn good. He has 7 or 8 targets.
Jeez, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I'd say Trevor Lawrence and Josh Allen for fantasy purposes both have a little over 10 points right now. Trevor Lawrence has lost 2 fumbles, and Josh Allen's throwing a pick, and 7-11 right now.
Jesus. Yeah, we kind of figured that this was going to be sloppy, here with this, this London game, these time changes and stuff, man. That's freaking weird, but
yeah.
I don't know. I know that one fellow was on there in the Discord, and he was talking, would you rather start Zay Flowers this week going up against the Steelers or Jordan Addison going up against the Chiefs?
I'm going to go with Zay Flowers because I mean the Pittsburgh secondary, we just been getting tore up left and right. So
that's what I was thinking too, man. I really was thinking.
I think he's a smash start. Now it does look like Odell Beckham is playing today, but I mean I'm still not really worried about Odell.
Yeah, I think if anything that helps Zay Flowers because I think he's gonna open up underneath, and then they're still gonna stretch him out for the deep, the deep ball. Because we all know Odell's not that guy anymore. He was never really that guy, anyways.
Right.
But,
so, this is a little bit of a grudge match this week with Wiz. It's the Ravens-Steelers game, but, I can't really be too excited about it because the way we played. I mean, I think Wiz is going to be happy. I will say that.
my buddy messaged me. He was like, hey, it's my birthday Sunday. You guys let us win? And I was like, man, the only way you have us to win is if Matt Canada actually hacks over to the Ravens comm, starts calling plays. You guys are fucked.
Matt Canada, man, what a disaster. Now, I did see a report. They said that he might be let go, if things don't go well today. I don't know. I know how the Steelers operate. They never let people go mid-season, and I can see this being an all-year problem.
Yeah, I can too. Unfortunately, it's just like the same thing. They'll roll them out, continue from year to year. So,
yeah.
It just sucks. But I will say that looks like Broderick Jones is going to start today. So maybe we'll get to see what we get out of the rookie.
Yeah, we need to. I mean, you waste a first-round pick on the guy. It's like, come on, I want to see him play. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I saw Marlon Humphrey's back as well, so that's more bad news for you guys. Tyler Lindenbaum is coming back as well today.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we're all coming back. We're getting healthy again for a couple more weeks. We'll be all injured, but we can stomp up on the Steelers for a bit.
Everything's bad news, Wiz. Everything's bad news. But honestly, man, I don't know. I mean, we easily could get blown out, but we always play tough against you guys. I honestly want to get blown out so we can fire some people and maybe try to get some things straightened out. But
right,
I know it's gonna. It's just like with the Bears, like they said, there's gonna be hope, after this, and people are gonna be like, here we go. This guy gets another year. This guy gets another year. It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Speaking of the Bears, how do you guys feel about Justin Fields right now? I mean, going forward, I would say he played really well against the Commanders, but he performed okay and really good for fantasy purposes, right? I mean, the Bears learned to get the ball to the number one target, DJ Moore, which won them the first game in almost 365 calendar days. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that they got DJ Moore involved, like we've been talking. They need to. I mean, just get the ball in his hands. That's how good he is. I mean, he didn't do anything immaculate as far as deep down the field stuff, but he's such a great yak guy. And it's like when you have a weapon like that, you got to get the ball to him any way you can. So at least they figured that part of it out. But boy, that Emmanuel Forbes is terrible. He's still a rookie, but boy, he just got exposed badly. I mean, that last touchdown to DJ Moore that thing was like pathetic. I mean, he had his hand right there, and it was like a hologram hand. It went through his hand. And DJ Moore caught it, and he ran for like another 60-yard touchdown. So,
yeah, I think a lot of it is just his mental, like especially after the Eagles game, first couple weeks he was playing real well, and then now when AJ Brown kind of schooled him a little bit, he's just a different guy out there now.
Yeah, I'm using this as a complete sell high on Justin Fields, but at the same time, he does get some juicy matchups coming up here. He's going to have the Chargers. I mean, he gets a chance to have a couple games that might be shootout-type games, so it's good he got a little confidence under himself. I mean, I'm definitely pulling for the guy, but I think I would use this as a sell high.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you're a contender, though, right? Like, if I'm contending, right, and in reject especially, I think I'm holding on to Justin Fields, especially this season, right? I mean, we're supposed to be playing in 2 to 3 year windows anyways, and if Justin Fields gets replaced next season, right, Bears draft Caleb Williams because they don't win enough games, or the Panthers don't, I mean, he's going to get a second shot, and it might not be as pretty as what it is or what it was, but I think he might still have a little sell window, just not as high right now. And I think I'm willing to stomach that risk, for this year, especially if I'm contending.
I think it's all what you prefer, and it depends. I mean, you can't get peanuts out of them. I mean, I just think this could be the max, and it could go up. It definitely could, and that is true. You want to try to make sure you win a championship, but who's some guys who would you rather have? Like, 'cause Joe Burrow's been struggling. Would you rather roll with Joe Burrow and try to get him healthy? Is that a trade you can get done? Because I think that's a move that maybe, as somebody else wants to contend, could they want Justin Fields because they want to win, and could you capitalize and get a Joe Burrow?
I think you would still need to pay, and I don't know if I would want to pay that much for a tier up from Justin Fields to Joe Burrow, and I mean you're probably have to pay what, first and second maybe.
I don't know.
You might need to pay more.
A prime example that I had, and I'll let you. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but this just hit me. Like, we were talking Joe Burrow on the Dynasty Dog Show there, and I put together a little thing. Like, if you were a contender and you had Joe Burrow, you'd definitely be frustrated right now. Could you ship out like a first, a Kirk Cousins, and maybe a smaller piece? Could be possible.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it just depends on who has them realistically. I mean, I think everybody kind of values Joe Burrow a bit differently. I know everybody's frustrated, and obviously they said he's weeks from getting right. So we're going to see here. He has another bad game today against the Cardinals, and then I think the price does drop down a little bit, and the frustration just continues to boil here in Cincinnati.
3 strikes and you're out. But we got our first question here, and it's, do you guys, what would you do with Jameson Williams? You starting him today, or you holding him back? The guy says he has a couple other decent options, but he's kind of tempted by the big play, and we did hear that he was limited. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'd like to know his other options here, but Jamo is somebody that I took out of all of my lineups. I'm a little bit nervous if he's not going to be playing very many snaps. And you wonder how true they're going to hold to that, because Gibbs is out, so him maybe playing a little bit more, could that take into effect? Amon-Ra is out, and then Josh Reynolds, I think, was actually questionable, but is going to play too. So,
yeah, they might not have a choice but to play him.
I think David Montgomery's a complete smash this week. I
mean, yeah.
Going off against Carolina.
Yeah, Laporta too. Yeah, Laporta.
Absolutely.
Laporta could have a really good game, but I think I'm staying away, man. I had him on a sit for the start-sit show. Now, that was before I got official confirmation that Amon-Ra was going to be out, but it's so hard with a guy like that because it's such a boom or bust play. I mean, I don't know. I'm just leaning more towards bust because it's going to be tough to come in your first game back and just light it up. I mean, it could definitely happen, but it's going to be, with the snap count they're talking about, already first game back, it's just going to be tough sledding. And the Detroit is not shy. They like to run the football, like Andy said with Montgomery. So yeah. I think that's the way I would lean. Like, if I had Montgomery, I'm definitely playing him in every lineup this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I saw a report that Chris Olave was limping during warm-ups today.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that makes anyone hesitant to start him, especially with Derek Carr's AC joint not really working too well. I don't think he's going to be able to get the ball downfield still.
I cannot believe that they played Derek Carr last week. I mean, you could obviously tell there's stuff going on. So, and it's got to be a blowback with some of these coaches, man. I mean, look what they're doing to Burrow. Look at Carr. I mean, you can't force these guys on the field when they're not even close to 100%. And I'm all for people playing through injuries, but if you can't perform, I mean, it sucks to play the backup guys, but they made it to the league for a reason, and that's their job, is to win you a game or two when in need. So,
yeah, and honestly, man, I think like if I had to say this, I mean, like we were doing the start sit 'em Saturday as we always do with me and Jimmy, and the one player I think this week that I have a lot of faith in that I think is going to have a huge bounce back, it's going to smash is Breece Hall. I mean, I think he's going to have a monster day today. How do you guys feel about Breece?
yeah, I really like Brees this week. Solid did come out and say a couple things about we need to get Dalvin Cook and Brees Hall involved. So that's a little bit scary. But I mean, it's a smash spot right here for Brees. I mean, it looks like he's getting a little better. Is he there yet? I don't know. Dalvin Cook has not looked good. So I'm firing him up in cash games. I mean, I don't care. I'll take that risk. But if you do fire him up in cash games, expect him to probably be, 75% of, like, a lot of people are going to be playing Brees Hall this week.
Yeah, he's a real chalky play.
Yeah.
And there was reports that came out that he's off the snap count. So, I mean, we could see more touches for him for sure. Dalvin Cook has not looked good at all.
No.
He definitely is just not the same guy anymore. He does have a prime matchup. Zach Wilson played well last week. So, I mean, it depends how the scoring goes, to be honest. I mean, if they're in a negative game script, they're not going to want to run the ball as much, but it can create dump offs. That whole entire Jets offense just scares me. I don't really want to start anyone really besides maybe outside Garrett Wilson.
Right. It is scary. I think I am firing them up, like I said, in all my leagues, but just in cash games and stuff. I expect them to be highly owned. I mean, if you're in a tournament play, I would maybe fade him because he's going to be owned.
Yeah, I think he's going to be highly played too. But, I mean, just that Denver defense is so bad. I mean, we've seen Khalil Herbert, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Alshon, whatever. They just run right through him, around him. I'm like you, that Achane run where the Denver team was just laying there. He's just like weaving in and out of bodies. It's like that's the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen.
It was like motorcycles going into a cone.
That's it. What's ironic is there was a lot of orange jersey pylons sitting there. But I want to ask you guys, too, about tight end plays. I mean, we know we just said Laporta, obviously, we really like. We know Kincaid and Knox are going right now for Buffalo. We know Ingram's going for Jacksonville. Is there a lower-end tight end that you like this week that you think could get it in double-digit points? Because there's one that I really like, but I want to ask you first.
For me, it's just so touchdown dependent. I mean, a guy that I love and it's higher end is T.J. Hawkinson this week. I mean, I know it's not a lower end, but I think this could end up being a shootout-type game. And if it could be a shootout, I think T.J. Hawkinson could easily get in the end zone here once, if not twice.
Yeah. I mean, I really like T.J. Hawkinson too. I mean, that guy's a tank. What do you think, Wiz? You got somebody?
Yeah, I like Tyler Higbee this week. Someone that I have in mind. I'm kind of streaming him everywhere in most of my leagues. I'm just the landscape. I've been kind of backing on Cole Kmet ever since the Bears have kind of started working out everything. I started Cole Kmet in a lot of my leagues, which paid off, got 15 points. But yeah, like Tyler Higbee comes out to mind, and Jake Ferguson I think is also another sneaky. Jake
Ferguson I like. I know Jimmy's a big Jake Ferguson lover. I think he's got a Jake Ferguson tattoo. He loves him so much. He likes them unsung tight ends. But I'll give you one that I really like. It's the starting tight end for the Atlanta Falcons. The starting tight end, Jonnu Smith, baby. I'm telling you, man, Jonnu, if he's available on your waiver wire and you guys need a tight end, pick him up because he's seen 20 targets in 3 games. And, you know, he does fit what they want to do on offense, unfortunately, for the Kyle Pitts owners out there, that Jonnu fits what Atlanta wants to do on offense because he's out there on a lot of run plays. He's seeing around a 60-70% snap share, too, which is alarming. And, I mean, it's just like if you have a bad tight end, Ritter's going to check down to him because he's not an over-the-top guy either. He's always going to hover around that 10 to 15 yards away from the line of scrimmage at the max. And I think that's why Ritter likes him because Ritter's not that good. He can't push the ball down the field. So I could see Jonnu having double digits today. Nothing crazy, maybe 12, 14. But I just think he's going to get that on target volume alone. And he hasn't visited the end zone yet, so he might get an opportunity there too.
Absolutely. And if this happens, people are going to freak out on Kyle. It's already freaked out, but...
Yeah, Jonnu has like a 17 or 18-point game. People are going to lose their shit, man. I'm telling you right now. But I just think it's going to happen. And I said if you have Pitts, honestly, I'm picking up Jonnu and I'm starting him over him. I don't care. I mean, what I've seen these last 3 games, it's alarming, and I don't think things are going to change. And, you know, they brought him there for a reason. They traded for him. I mean... He's just a short-term answer, but there's a lot of people that are trying to stream tight ends, and I think he's a good stream because, you know, Houston's secondary is not that good. Let's be honest. We just suck. We couldn't do anything against them last week, but Atlanta is going to be able to maybe establish a little bit of something on the ground, and they should be able to check down to some of these guys like Bijan, like Jonnu Smith. That's their offense, so that's who I'm going with. But, I mean... Another guy that's really cooled off in the tight end department I have as a sit this week's Hunter Henry. What do you guys think of him? Do you think that like Gesicki's cutting into that, or do you think it's just the Patriots' offense is so bad? I mean, what do you think about Hunter Henry? You done with him completely or what?
I don't think I'm necessarily done. I mean, really, what weapons do they have? It's all kind of bad. We've seen, who was it? Demario Douglas come out and have like 40 yards last week. So I think it's just kind of like hit and miss. Yeah. I think Hunter Henry, I would hold on to him for now. I mean, it's not pretty. Maybe even more of a best ball guy. He's not a guy that I'm putting in my lineup week to week and I'm like, oh yeah, I feel good about this. But he could end up being, you know, at the end of the week if the touchdowns are there, he'd be a back end tight end 1. I think it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, too, what's alarming is Aaron Jones might not play on Monday Night Football. And I know I was talking to Mike from the Dynasty Dogs crew, and we were talking about Aaron Jones. He's like, man, I don't know what to do because I have Gus Edwards, I have Tajay Spears, and I have Aaron Jones, and I'd hate to play one of them guys over Aaron Jones. But I did tell him, I said, I don't know, man. I would run it up to the last minute. But Gus Edwards always steamrolls the Steelers. So... I mean, and our run defense is atrocious. So if I had to make that switch, I would switch to Gus Edwards. That's why I wanted to bring up Gus Edwards. So I mean, do you guys like him? I mean, if you're really running back needy, I mean, I think that you're really lucky if you have like some people on a bye this week and you have a Gus Edwards. Like, I think this matchup's perfect. Do you agree?
Yeah, I know Steelers the front without Cam Hayward, we're soft as baby shit. I mean, honestly, we just get blown off the line. Look, things in Pittsburgh are really bad right now, and I know, you know, with us living here, we kind of see it firsthand, and not a lot of changes are made. So, I think, you know, I'm definitely firing up Flowers, Andrews, and then I would definitely fire up Gus Edwards as a running back too this week.
Yeah, you agree with that, Wiz? I know you're a Ravens guy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I'm just more long term, and especially right now, like I have Gus Edwards on my go team that I've been trying to get rid of. And no one will give me 2/3 for him, which I don't think that's much. I feel like that's something I could easily sell. But yeah, I don't know. It's I can see it going either way. Everything's be touchdown dependent, and if he's gonna be creeping up the low team points, if he does. And just the Ravens back, you just never know what they do week in and week out. That's the scariest thing. That Kenyon Drake's gonna be active, so he might have his 20-point game this week. Who knows?
Yeah.
Justice Hill's getting better and better, coming off the small injury he had. I think it was like Turto, like a small grade or something like that. And then Keith Mitchell's coming off IR hopefully soon. And I think it's add more depth to our running game. So, I mean, like outlook going forward, I'm leaning more towards sell. But this week, I mean, if you have no one else, I mean, yeah, I'd probably start him. I'd probably start him over Jameson Williams. And maybe even over Najee, because at this point with the Steelers, I mean, you just don't know who to rely on for the running game.
No, no, it's pretty. Like Andy said, I'm really not counting on any Steelers, and it kills me to say that. But from a fantasy perspective, if I had other options, I would definitely go that route. And another guy I want to bring up as far as like a running back, handcuffy type guy, because like I said, we got a lot of injuries. We got a lot of, bye weeks this week. Things going on, but I know Andy's really high on this guy. That's Jaleel McLaughlin. And we know Javonte Williams is questionable, so we don't even know if he's going to play. And if he does play, how involved will he be? As Andy said a million times, Samaje Perine has not looked good this year with Denver. A lot of people thought that'd be a good late-round sleeper type of guy, but it just hasn't panned out. But what do you all think of Jaleel McLaughlin as someone, if you had to stream him, I don't think that's a horrible option either because he could get in the end zone. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, he's very... We're going to have to see if Javonte plays. I think that's going to be mainly his relevance. True game-time decision, I guess, with his hip. And Javonte really hasn't looked good either. Doesn't it just feel like he's a Sean Payton guy?
Yeah. When you said that, I went instantly, yeah.
It just does. Like, undrafted, Youngstown State. I mean, he's real shifty and fast. Just explosive. Reminds me of a smaller Ray Rice, to be quite honest. But we'll see if he holds up. But I just keep an eye on Javonte, and I wouldn't feel good about it unless Javante's out, then maybe he has more of a role. I just don't know if it's a little bit too early for him to take over the reins, but in my opinion, he looks way better than Samaje Perine.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I mean, Samaje is just a guy that hopefully you don't need to start ever. I know.
Yeah.
Unless there's like some real injuries that happen, right? Javonte is still a guy, but I think even if Javonte plays, I think he's being on a limited snap count with the hip. They probably want him to re-aggravate it and get hurt anymore. So I think McLaughlin was his last name.
Yeah, McLaughlin. Like yep.
Yeah. I'd probably start him over Gus Edwards, to be honest. I think he might have a safer floor.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, all right, Wiz. I like it kind of bold. I like that. But let me ask you this. Jonathan Taylor gets the big contract. What are the Colts doing? Jim Irsay, what an idiot. He could have been there from week one. If you're going to pay the guy, just pay him, But he's back. He's content. He got paid. The Colts are playing good football. What do you expect out of him this first game? What's realistic expectations to you guys?
As good as Zach Moss has been running, do they go away from him on the first week back? I don't know. I don't really see it. They're playing a tough front here against Tennessee. I think he'll definitely be limited, and I'm going to say, I would expect 30 to 40% at most. So I don't know. If you're firing him up, don't expect much. You never know. Jonathan Taylor's so damn good. He's capable of taking anything to the house. But as far as volume-wise, it's going to have to be a big run. And what kind of shape's he going to be in as well? Not to cut you off, sorry, Wiz, but you got to remember, look at Josh Jacobs. He looked horrible coming back. Finally got himself kind of together last week, but it's just what kind of shape is he in as well?
Yeah, and I saw that they're going to keep him on a snap count this week. So I think this is the last good week to start Zach Moss where you don't really have to be too scared.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, I'm not really going to start him unless if I really need to, but who knows? Come back, look explosive. I know Alvin Kamara looked good coming back, but it was also because of his 13, 14 catches for 33 yards. So, if you need to start him, start him, but I would probably hold off. You can't one more week.
Yeah, I think so too, man, because there's so many people that, were waiting on him, counting on him, and, now they think, he's back and he's going to save my team this week. And it's you got to really look at it, like you said, and Zach Moss has played good. Ain't like he's been a scrub for them. He's been solid. You just wish the Colts would have got this done before the season. We shouldn't even have gotten to this point.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and I do
Yeah, it's
think,
crazy how he bent the knee too. After he was like, he's not worth anything. He's like, he's gone after the season.
yeah, and I mean, the thing is like, I'm sure he was banged up, and if he is banged up, okay, but it'd be nice to at least he's rested, I will say, but I would say like maybe week 7, week 8, he'll really be rolling by that point. I'd like to think. But going over to this Rams game, this is like the $1 million question that we've seen from so many people, going into this week. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. I mean, how are they going to coexist? We're going to get a first glance at it. Cooper Kupp returning after this injury-plagued thing that he's been going through with the knee, then the hamstring and the ankle, whatever. But how do you guys feel this is going to go with Kupp and Puka? I mean, do you think Kupp's going to have an instant impact this week, or do you think he gets eased in as well this week?
I think it's tough to tell. I did see him doing some drills, and he looked really good in some of his drills. So I have to fire him up in a couple leagues. I mean, I just don't have any better options.
Right.
But I'm not expecting a huge game. And I do think there's going to be life for Puka with Kupp there. I mean, obviously not the 15 to 20 targets, of course, but like I could still see him in a Robert Woods type role with Cooper Kupp there, because I mean, even last week he played about 90% of snaps out wide instead of in the slot, and that's mainly Cooper Kupp plays in the slot. So it's going to be interesting, and it might be hit and miss weeks for both of them, to be quite honest.
What do you think, Wiz?
So I was gonna say the sporting books right now, they have Kupp at 62.5 yards and Puka is at 63.5, and they're both at over 5.5 catches each. So I think the sports books are also torn on what's going to happen. But I think it's going to be a nice coexistence. I think Puka is going to be a nice wide receiver 2 to 3 rest of the season with the wide receiver 1 upside. Because like Andy said, he can play outside. Most of his slots, most of his plays come out from the outside. So I think there's going to be a nice coexistence. Matthew Stafford's so good with the ball with making those tough throws, and he doesn't always go with the first read. Like he anticipates where receiver is going to be, and I think Puka is a real good football IQ. Same with Cooper Kupp. So I think there's going to be a nice partner, duo, trio together. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Stafford is good enough to facilitate with those guys as well. Like that, and that's what we said about Geno Smith. Like, easily, the Seahawks could have the best receiving core in football. They could have one of them, But the thing is, man, he cannot facilitate to 3 targets like a Metcalf, a Lockett, and a JSN. So I think that's why JSN's suffering so much. But as far as Stafford goes, man, like we mentioned, he does get hurt, and that's what sucks from a fantasy perspective. But when he's on the field, he's as elite can be in this league. I mean, he's proven it time and time again. So he can facilitate to these guys, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. But I want to bring up another play, and I'm going to give a shout out to Big E and Sterling, the Double Coverage DFS crew, because that's what I love about having so many shows over at the Dynasty DNA Network, because you can see things through different glasses sometimes. Like, I never would have really thought of this or paid much mind to it, but they brought it to my attention. This Cincinnati Bengals Arizona Cardinals game could be a little bit more high scoring than we think. And I'll tell you what, the Cardinals have played good football this year. And there's one player that I really like that's a low-key guy that if I can get right now, I'm like, Andy, I know you mentioned this. I'd like to maybe get some pieces here in this offense for the future. Michael Wilson, man. I think this guy is on the verge of, a semi-sneaky little quiet breakout. Looked great last week, getting a soft Cincinnati defense. And the Cardinals are playing good football. They're playing hard. I like Michael Wilson this week as if I had to start him in a flex spot or something along those lines. I think the matchup's pretty fair. What do you think about Michael Wilson?
Yeah, he kind of really exploded last week when he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot of what I seen in Stanford besides the injuries. Like, he looked really good at the Senior Bowl, and he was kind of a stash guy and now really showing out. So you need to try to get your hands on him in Dynasty leagues. And, yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't mind starting him as a flex play this week. And on DraftKings, I believe, he's like high 3,800 or something like that. So, I mean, it could be a really good option, especially at that kind of a price point. If he gets in the end zone once, if not twice again.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about Michael Wilson, Wiz? I'm curious. Pick your brain on him.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Wilson, from his tape, he looked like a real good wide receiver that has upside, right? Which is something that we like to see. Just the thing is that he got hurt a lot in college. And I think that's why his draft stock went down. And why no one kind of paid attention to him. He went in the late third round in the NFL draft. But Michael Wilson's a guy I have not many shares of because I was taking tight ends most of the time because he's going to second, third round, and I usually don't have third round picks because I trade him off. But the teams that do have him, I'm happy, and he's just sitting on my taxis waiting to go in the lineup, hoping more for Kyler. I think his ceiling's been unlocked, and that's like a guy I'm definitely looking to buy. I just don't know what his value is because I don't think people are going to be giving it to you for 2/3 now, like maybe a second and third, and I don't know if I want to pay that kind of price right now.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on the makeup of your team. You know, I just really like the player. I really like the tape and what I've seen. But I got to give credit to Arizona. You know, like I said, man, we all thought there's a good chance they could just lay down this year, get steamrolled. And they're playing hard football, man. They're playing good. Josh Dobbs, I mean, he's looked better than a lot of these guys that a lot of people were counting on this year. I mean, you know, people were kind of laughed at Arizona for making that trade. But, boy, I mean, he's really fit with them. And like I said, you look at some of the horrendous quarterback play around the league, I don't think he's that half bad. I mean, you guys, I mean, as Dobbs, I mean, I wouldn't mind even having him as a QB3 as an insurance. I mean, I'm definitely not going out and looking to trade high premium for this guy. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind having roster. If you were lucky enough to get him on your waiver wire, man, congratulations, because that was a nice value pickup.
Yeah, that's mainly where I got him. I got him as a lot of waiver wire, QB3 or 4, and I could be more happy about it. I mean, if you're a contender, maybe you could trade a third as another piece to have him behind your stud guys. But
yeah,
other than that, we know they're drafting somebody. But I don't want to take anything away from Josh Dobbs, man. I mean, he's really looked good. And another player I like there is Zach Ertz. I mean, Zach Ertz twice this year has seen 10 plus targets. So kind of a guy that Josh Dobbs is really looking for as well. And even throughout his time in Tennessee and in Pittsburgh, he's always kind of looked for the tight end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Joshua Dobbs, I mean, like you guys said, I got him a lot off of waiver wire. And I bought him for 2/3 for a quarterback when Deshaun Watson went down, which I thought was fair enough. You know, he was be starting quarterback, even though it was against San Francisco. It was a good matchup, but, you know, it's better than what I had on the bench. But it just makes me more excited for when Kyler Murray comes back. I mean, the Arizona's offense has looked good with Joshua Dobbs, which we've seen him in Tennessee, where he looks like a competent. He's not going to win you games, but he's going to keep you close to the end. And I think when Kyler comes back, I mean, that Arizona team is going to be scary.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I mean, you get some pieces into that team a little bit earlier, that would be great, man. They got some nice young players there, some old veterans that kind of fit nice. And, you know, there's another game here I want to talk about real quick. And it was
so we have a question from Domo over here. He said, would you guys start Matt Breida or D-Hop half PPR in the flex spot?
Oh, D-Hop, easily. I think D-Hop could have a really big game this week, actually.
This could be the game where he has his best game. We've seen Ryan Tannehill look good last week, too. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I was really happy with, you know, I mean, like, let's just be like, just to see the Tennessee offense to have some life, I should say. Like, I mean, that was a good game for them to get some confidence. And like you said, Ann, great matchup. I think Hopkins could have one of his better games this week. I really do.
Absolutely.
I think Burks is out as well. So
he is. So that even helps his case a little bit more. So, and I mean, Indy's been pretty bad against the pass. So this could be, like you said, TJ, a breakout game.
Yeah. And two, you got to think, man, like, okay, we know Saquon's out for the Giants, but Miami's going to probably steamroll the Giants. And if they steamroll them, they're going to abandon the run early. They're going to have to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then, you know, what's funny is I was getting ready to go over to that game right now. I wanted to talk about Miami and the Giants. I would probably definitely, with Miami, you know, try to play every player I could this week if I had him on my roster. I mean, it's definitely shaping up to be that way. But in the running back room, What do you guys think of A-Chain this week? Do you think he continues this? Do you think he keeps getting these mega points, or do we see it get scaled back a little bit? I just wanted to ask you that. And I know you're close to the Giants situation, and I know you've been monitoring A-Chain and a lot of the rookie stuff that's going on. What do you think about A-Chain this week?
I definitely like him this week. I'll play him some in DFS, but at some time these long runs, you got to stop, right? I don't know if it's this week against the Giants because their defense has been horrible, but I mean, he is starting to see a little bit more work and been very efficient with it as well. So I'm definitely firing him up if I have him. I'm not shying away. I'd honestly be a little bit worried if I had Mostert. I think A-Chain's starting to really kind of establish himself a little more.
Yeah, younger legs too, younger guy, has more wear on the tires. What do you think about A-Chain this week, Wiz?
He's about to jump into a 20 burger. That's what's going to happen this week.
Probably not because I'm starting him.
Oh, jeez. Well, Andy, that's on the team. Put on the bench.
And
that sleeper notification, the biggest bench warmer of the week.
And the thing is, man, I'm gonna say this too right now. I did make a mistake, and I want to apologize. I said I would start any Dolphins against the Giants. I will not start Chase Claypool. You could not pay me enough money to start Chase Claypool. There's no way. I cannot even believe they traded for this guy. Miami's rolling right now. Why do you want to bring in a headache like that? Stupid.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
There's my new general manager, but he's just following the old ways as a previous one. That's for sure.
No, it's ridiculous. It's crazy, man. But another thing I want to bring up here real quick is with the Giants. I mean, Daniel Jones. I mean, this offensive line is just horror. I mean, I thought the Steelers were bad, and they are bad. I thought Chicago was worst, and they are worst. And I thought, there's no way we could get past that. But the Giants are there, man. Do you guys have any hope for Daniel Jones this season to turn it around? I mean, this should be a high-scoring game. Maybe there's some garbage time, but as bad as their line is, I mean, I don't see Miami calling off the dogs.
No. Their line's so bad now. Saquon's out. I mean, he's the best player on the offense easily. And then Waller's been such a big disappointment. I mean, just cooked, man. So it would be nice if they would go out and try to make a move. Or I'd be playing a lot of Jalen Hyatt if I was them. Just see what you got. I mean, a lot of people say he's a one-trick pony, and I mean, that's a lot of what we've seen in college, but give the young man a shot. Wan'Dale Robinson, he looks like he's kind of stepping back in and showing his explosiveness. Now, I'm not a big Wan'Dale fan, but he is a guy that goes underneath the middle and can catch, 8 to 10 balls. I mean, it's not out of the possibilities for him.
Yeah, I agree. I've been trying to test the waters for Wan'Dale. I kind of liked him coming out. He had a few good games before he tore his ACL last season. But I don't know what the Giants' deal is with slot receivers, why they don't like big body receivers, which just sucks because they all just kind of eat into each other, limits of what they can do. But I mean, Wan'Dale's a guy that I'm interested in for sure. I just redraft not really. Dynasty's more hoping to see what the Giants do. But Daniel Jones, that just looked like a terrible buy. I mean, a terrible contract they signed with him. He just has not looked good. And, you said, Bears' offensive line was terrible. Steelers, Giants said, hold my beer. I'll do you one better. And it's just crazy. Like, the Bengals are beating them in points right now, which, I mean, was expected to be coming into this season, but just a dumpster fire.
Yeah, man, and it all starts up front, and you wonder why some of these teams are struggling. I mean, that's a good place to start. I mean, football is a simple game. I mean, you got to protect your quarterback. You got to open up holes for the running game. You got to be more physical, and we just haven't seen it out of some of these groups. And, I just want to bring this up real quick. Have James Cook in our home league. The Bills are down to the 3-yard line, and I thought maybe I'll get a touchdown. He's got 2 points. What happens? Josh Allen runs it in yet again. So big surprise there. I mean, that just that kills me, man. I just can't believe that. But we're gonna go.
I was gonna say, speaking of the Bills and Jaguars game, Travis Etienne has 36 points right now, fantasy points. His 23 throws for 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches for 48 yards.
Yeah, he's looking good, man.
He is looking good.
Yep, a lot better than I thought he would be. I honestly, I mean, what we seen last year, it wasn't good, and James Cook, 5 carries, -4. That's still driving
Which is
me.
crazy. I thought James Cook's been looking pretty good, but I mean, he's going to have these type of games, I guess, and it sucks whenever Josh Allen does this or they bring in Latavius Murray, out of the grave and put him in a game.
Yeah, yeah, we think Latavius is gone, and they bring him right back. But
Yep.
one other game I want to bring up here, we can cover one more, is the Falcons and the Texans. I mean, C.J. Stroud has looked phenomenal, and we mentioned this time and time again on this show. He is somebody that I'm aggressively pursuing in all dynasty formats, but he gets a little bit tougher of a draw with Atlanta defense. Now, their secondary isn't as good, but they do stop the easy stuff. They take away the run. They try to make you earn everything that you get. How do you feel about Stroud this week going up against the Falcons?
It's going to be a big test for him, I think. I mean, I could see him getting in between that 15 to 20 range. I think 20 at the high mark. He's looked so good. You don't want to take anything away from him, but yeah, this is kind of a little bit bigger of a test for him. And being a rookie, he's going to have some of these games where he doesn't look like, an NFL quarterback at times. I mean, every game so far, he's really looked good. Does he hit that 300 mark? I'm going to actually say he falls a little bit short. I don't know what the over-under is, like on sports gambling sites, but I'd probably put him right between that 250 to 275 range. And he'll probably get at least one touchdown. We'll see if he can get 2. I think that's where it really lays on.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about Stroud this week, Wiz? I do think this is a little bit more of a test for him. Do you agree with that?
I mean, there's been quarterbacks that have shown that they can beat the Falcons through the air, right? I mean, Jordan Love came back, and I don't know, I can't remember if the Packers won that game or not. I believe they did. But, I mean, it's definitely going to be a good test. I thought he was tested a few weeks ago. I forget who the Texans had played, but I thought they played a decent
Baltimore.
team.
I know they played
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah, they showed against Baltimore, but before that, see who they played. I'll say the Colts. Colts have an okay secondary, but I mean, I think it's gonna be a good test for him. But I think he's gonna shine, and he's just the kind of player he is. I think it really comes down to it. Is he gonna be able to get the ball deep to Tank Dell? Because I think that's gonna be a good touchdown score right there. And Tank Dell's a guy I'm probably gonna be locking in my lineups if I have him and I have no one else to start. And also, I mean, how do you guys feel about Dameon Pierce going forward? I mean, he's kind of struggled recently. I think that was more so like the teams making C.J. Stroud beat him through the air, and I think now teams are kind of realizing that, hey, C.J. Stroud's not bad; he could beat us through the air.
Dameon Pierce. Yeah. I mean, I had him as a start last week going up against us. I mean, I knew he'd run us over. He's the type of running back that usually would run us over, big and physical. I mean, just couldn't stop him. But, this week I have him as a sit going up against Atlanta, and I know you love this, Andy. Grady Jarrett, I mentioned it during the start-sit show. I know you're a big proponent of Grady Jarrett and his work. So
yeah.
I do think it's going to be a little tougher for him to get the ball moving on the ground.
Yeah, I do too. I think dynasty-wise, he is a great buy at the moment because, like you said, C.J. Stroud's starting to beat him through the air, and this could actually end up getting him a little bit more red zone work. I mean, if he's not going to bust off the big runs, that's not really the kind of runner he is. He's kind of a touchdown-dependent, pound it between the tackles type of runner. And we got to remember that offensive line is so banged up, and I mean they're starting to get better week by week. So let's get our best offensive lineman in there. Let's see C.J. Stroud continue to, be good through the air. And I think we could see a much better second half out of Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, and I agree. I think he's a great buy. This week, I'm just a little worried with that Atlanta run stuffing defense. But like Sterling said on the Discord, I mean, their line is getting better. It's just coaching, man. You see it. You got a great offensive style San Francisco vibe with that offense. I think that's what's helping the Texans.
Absolutely.
But, one last player I want to talk about before we hop off is Nico Collins. I mean, this guy's really exploded onto the scene. I mean, there's a lot of Nico believers out there that really love this guy. I'm sure they're really, really happy right now. He is looking good. I mean, do you think he sustains this for the rest of the year? And how do you think he does today? I mean, what's your feeling on that? I'll ask you both.
I mean, can he sustain what he did against shitty Levi Wallace? Probably not.
He don't even belong to the Canadian
but,
League.
but I don't want to take anything away from Nico, man. I mean, he's had a great season. And it seems like he does have that alpha type body. I mean, does he finish as like a top 10 guy? Probably not, in my opinion. But could I see him in that 15 range? Absolutely. I mean, he's really kind of came onto the scene here. For the rest of this year, I mean, eventually I'm sure the Texans bring in somebody. I mean, they have Cleveland's first round pick next year. They have, second round pick next year. So, and you can get really good receivers in this draft. Now, as far as like, he's probably worth a first in Dynasty. I can't pay it. I don't know about you guys. I definitely can't, but is he worth it? I mean, for this year, he might be worth that late first.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Wiz. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
All right. I was gonna say, I do not feel comfortable giving away at first. Like you said, Andy. I mean, he's definitely shined in there, and I agree that they're definitely gonna bring someone in. I believe, I forget who's been calling the Bengals about T. Higgins, but I think T. Higgins might be on the move coming up, especially if the Bengals start keep losing games and they're kind of out of the playoffs. It scares me on his future, what's going to happen. But I'd probably pay 2 first if it's going to be a later first. And depends like how my team is, right, as well, if I need the depth or whatnot. But hopefully you wouldn't need the depth. But, I mean, he's definitely a startable asset in redraft right now. Like that's the guy I would target if I have someone that's underperforming constantly, or if I just need a different position, or if I want to tear down. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree 110%. I mean, you just got to keep in perspective. But if you do have them rostered, you're feeling good about it. And if you're a contender, you're feeling real good about it because you're definitely getting points right now. But we're closing in, fellas. We're here about 5 minutes away from kickoff. I think we were getting ready to sign off here, but we appreciate everyone logging in with the questions. We're always happy to help with start-sit questions. Like I said, we talk all things football every week. I love doing these. It's kind of a nice little relaxing thing right before the games. And we'll keep bringing them to you. I mean, there's always going to be a variety of somebody here, and we're always going to be trying to help you win your games. That's our main goal. We want to win the championships for our dynasty leagues, our redraft leagues, whatever it may be. Start sits, trades, waiver wire stuff. That all plays a big part in it. But everyone, if you could, follow Dynasty DNA on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. If you want to listen to more of our content, check out all the podcasts over on the Dynasty DNA Podcasting Network. Available on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Google, Amazon. We're on all the big ones. YouTube as well. We do put out some stuff over there as well sometimes, so we're always around. Make sure you check that out. And also join the Dynasty DNA Discord. I'm telling you guys, if you love fantasy football, if you love starts and sits, if you love trades questions, I mean anything fantasy football related, rankings, player values, we talk about it all over there. I'm always available. Andy, Wiz, all the other Dynasty DNA guys. I mean, you can reach out, message. There's other great guys involved, too, with other awesome podcasts that you can meet and talk to. Awesome people. That's what I love about it. All great guys over there, really nice, and, too, really know their stuff. I always like talking their opinions, picking their brains, so it's a great place to join. If you want to join that Discord, go over to our Twitter page in the description. You can click on the link. It's right there. It's free. Everyone's welcome. We would love to have you. And the Twitter is DynastyDNA_. But this is going to do it for this week, and we will see you guys next week for Week 6. Good luck in all your games, and we'll be talking to you soon. We appreciate it. Good luck, guys.
Good luck.